Good morning. Today we publish a white paper on immigration, a strategy absolutely central to my plan for change that will finally take back control of our borders.
Keir Starmer, a name that has become all but synonymous with a new era in British politics, embodies a remarkable journey from his working-class roots to the leadership of the Labour Party and the role of Prime Minister. His ascent is characterized by discipline, pragmatism, and unwavering commitment to public service. However, behind the public figure lies a private life that offers intriguing insights into the man behind the political facade. Particularly noteworthy are aspects of his personal life, like his romantic relationship, dietary choices, and religious practices, that, while seemingly ordinary, have sparked curiosity and concern among the public. A marriage outside the spotlight. Keir Starmer has been married to Victoria Alexander since 2007, though very little is known about her publicly. This lack of visibility is deliberate. Victoria, a former solicitor who now works in occupational health for the NHS, has kept herself far from the political spotlight, even during Starmer's rise to Labour leader and now Prime Minister. The couple shares 2 children, whose names and lives are kept entirely private. This low-profile approach has led some to speculate about the nature of their relationship. Critics argue that in an age where public figures are expected to be transparent, especially about their values and personal motivations, Starmer's guarded home life raises eyebrows. Supporters, on the other hand, suggest it reflects healthy boundaries. What is clear is that the public gets very little insight into the woman closest to Britain's most powerful elected figure. And some find that troubling in a political culture where a leader's family is often seen as a reflection of their values. Yet others see it as a welcome departure from performative politics. Victoria Starmer has only appeared briefly in official moments, such as campaign events or when accompanying Keir to the polls. It's a contrast to the glossy family images often circulated by other political figures. A peculiar focus on his diet. Among the more unusual topics that has captured public curiosity is Keir Starmer's diet. Though not vegetarian, he's made it clear he rarely eats meat. His reasons appear personal and practical rather than ideological. In interviews, he's described his eating habits as leaning towards healthy and plant-based foods, often skipping meat altogether. This has oddly sparked concerns among voters and commentators. There's a segment of the British public that associates hearty meat eating with traditional values and masculinity. Starmer's choice to avoid meat, even sporadically, has led right-wing tabloids and online commentators to mock or question his manliness. It seems absurd, yet it ties into broader discomfort some have with political figures who defy old-fashioned cultural expectations. It seems absurd, yet it ties into a broader discomfort some have with political figures who defy old-fashioned cultural expectations. Starmer's refusal to pander to these expectations might actually reflect a broader theme in his character: discipline, personal control, and a refusal to perform. His former colleagues in law often spoke of his aesthetic lifestyle, and his approach to eating fits within that same frame. The scrutiny over something as trivial as his diet says more about British political culture than it does about Starmer himself. Religion and the question of identity. Keir Starmer's relationship with religion is nuanced. He's spoken warmly about Jewish traditions, largely because his wife is Jewish and they're raising their children in that faith. Yet Starmer himself does not appear to actively practice any religion. He has described himself as being from a Christian background, yet now says he has no faith. Still, he has attended synagogue and often wears the red string bracelet given to him at Jewish ceremonies. This blend of secularism and spiritual respect has led to questions about authenticity. Some critics say his mixed signals are politically calculated, trying to please multiple constituencies. Others see in Starmer a modern approach to faith, one that respects tradition and family without needing personal religious commitment. This ambiguity can make him hard to pin down, especially in a political era where identity politics play a central role. Starmer's ability to both honor his wife's Jewish heritage and maintain his own secularism has drawn both praise and suspicion. The concern lies in not knowing what, if anything, anchors him morally. For others, it's a refreshing honesty about the limits of belief in public life.
I do think it's time that the court system became much more of a place where the ordinary person feels they can go, and I think that means stripping judges and lawyers of their wigs and gowns and making it much more like a GP's health centre. I do think it's time that...
From working-class roots to Queen's Counsel, Keir Starmer's personal background stands in contrast to many who've led the Labour Party before him. Born in Southwark in 1962 and raised in Oxted, Surrey, he was the second of 4 children. His mother was a nurse with a lifelong battle with Still's disease, and his father was a toolmaker. Despite the modest beginnings, Starmer found his way to Reigate Grammar School before attending Leeds University and later Oxford. He was named after Keir Hardie, the founder of the Labour Party, yet his early life was not shaped by political ambition. Instead, he trained as a barrister, eventually becoming one of the most respected human rights lawyers in Britain. His appointment as Queen's Counsel in 2002 confirmed his status at the top of the legal profession. By 2008, he was named Director of Public Prosecutions, a role that cemented his image as an efficient and principled legal mind. Throughout these stages, his personal life remained relatively private, with few tabloid-worthy anecdotes. His work came first, and he built a reputation for discipline over charisma. Political rise and carefully controlled messaging. Starmer entered politics later in life, elected as MP for Holborn and St. Pancras in 2015. From the outset, he positioned himself as a steady presence amid party turbulence. He was appointed Shadow Brexit Secretary under Jeremy Corbyn and often served as a bridge between factions of the party. By 2020, he had succeeded Corbyn as Labour leader, offering a platform focused on competence, legalism, and national unity. Yet his rise has not been without resistance. Some on the left of the party see him as overly cautious, even opportunistic. His critics argue that his positions often seem more reactive than bold. The concern here overlaps with unease about his personal life. Some say Starmer's reluctance to reveal too much about himself reflects a broader pattern of calculated distance. Whether that distance is strategic or simply his personality is still up for debate. Starmer rarely speaks about his marriage or children in interviews. He seldom gives off-the-cuff remarks. This level of message control has worked in his favor in many policy debates, but it feeds the lingering perception that the public still doesn't really know who he is. Public persona versus private reserve. The line between his public life and personal reserve has always been clearly drawn. His media appearances are polished, his answers measured. Even in interviews designed to showcase a more human side, like his appearances on morning television or podcast chats, he maintains a calm, detached demeanor. He's admitted to being boring, and that admission in itself became a talking point. For many, it reinforced his image as dependable but lacking flair. But for others, that very lack of flash is reassuring. After years of political instability, scandals, and showboating, Starmer's composed personality has been a selling point. The concern, though, is whether that control is masking something or if it simply reveals how little the public is truly allowed to see.
I come from a working class family. So my dad worked in a factory all his life. That was his working environment. I'd never known any working environment other than a factory until I left home. So this was a classic working class family. We holidayed here, we never went abroad. We didn't really eat out very much because there wasn't enough money. This is not a sob story, it's just a story of what it's like to grow up working class.
Handling of criticism and public pressure. As leader of the opposition and now Prime Minister, Starmer has been subjected to constant scrutiny. His handling of criticism often reflects his legal background, controlled, unemotional, and strategically limited. He rarely responds with fire. Instead, he pivots, reframes, or defers. In Parliament, this makes him seem sharp and precise. In the media, it can make him seem detached or calculating. There have been moments where public frustration has boiled over. His former association with Jeremy Corbyn, followed by his efforts to purge Corbynism from the party, alienated many traditional Labour supporters. His stance on protests, particularly his reserved approach to the Israel-Palestine conflict, has further strained parts of the party base. And yet, in every case, Starmer avoids overt emotional response. He sticks to his message, rarely straying from carefully prepared lines. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Starmer will ever reveal more of his personal life? Let us know in the comments section below.